Hey guys, Steph here, and we're going to switch up our schedule a little bit, and my episode of She Said is going to come before our couples vlog for the week because today's topic is something that's really important, and Jake and I both agreed that we think this is something that's pretty time sensitive as well. For those of you that don't know or may not have noticed, in the past 24 hours, the hashtag #MeToo has taken social media by storm after actress Alyssa Milano tweeted this past Sunday. Her tweet was encouraging all women who have been affected by sexual harassment at some point throughout their life to respond to her tweet with the hashtag #MeToo, recognizing that they too have been part of this sexual harassment behavior. And in the past 24 hours, Twitter has gotten approximately 500,000 tweets with this hashtag, truly showing that across all platforms, not even just Twitter, Facebook too, that women are speaking up and having their voices heard. I do think that women in America have the same opportunity as men if they work hard enough, put themselves out there, and choose a lifestyle that's going to allow them to pursue their career, as opposed to pursuing a family lifestyle, which is completely fine and something that I want to do as well. Now, I do believe that women are still sexually harassed by men and mistreated in a way that goes often under the radar. Today, I just want to share with you guys my story of Me Too and why I think this is something for women to take part of. It's not necessarily a call to action or a movement, it's more of a wake-up call. It's women putting themselves out there, sharing their story, or not sharing their story, just simply saying Me Too, recognizing that they are a victim as well. It's people showing awareness to a topic that goes under the radar because dads, brothers, uncles, boyfriends, husbands may not know that their loved one has been affected by this. For me personally, my Me Too moment happened when I was only 13 years old. This Me Too movement is focused around the movie industry coming from a scandal with alleged sexual assault from Harvey Weinstein, women bringing up charges against him from sexual harassment in the past. My story starts as something that was meant to be voluntary and went a lot further than it should have. Hanging out with a boy that I was dating, as much as you could date someone when you're at that age, and his parents invited me over for dinner. So of course I went, and the night went on. He asked if I wanted to watch a movie in their basement. I said yes, sure. Hey guys, what's up? Had to change my scenery there. It was getting a little too windy outside and I wanted to make sure that the audio wasn't going to be affected. To continue my story, like I said, I was at his house. We were just watching a movie together, kissing. Everything was completely mutual, and it took a turn. And he started asking me to have sex with him. I was not comfortable with this at all. I said no, absolutely not. And he started saying things that were just very emotionally abusive to me. It started off as, "You're worthless. If you won't do this for me, then what even is our relationship? What's the point of us even being friends if we can't do this? Eventually you're gonna have to do it with someone, so what's the point? You're probably gonna be bad at it anyway, so you should just do it with me." And just saying things that were so emotionally hurtful. He went on to say, "You know what, we're done. If you won't do this with me, you're never gonna find someone who loves you." Just at 13, it's things that at any age, it's things that you should never hear someone say to you. And especially as a 13-year-old, I didn't know how to react. So I cried and I got up to leave, and he said, "You're not leaving unless we do this," and proceeded to take advantage of me. I called my mom and she picked me up as soon as she could, and I didn't tell them this story to this day. My parents aren't aware that this happened. No one is. I didn't report it. I didn't tell anyone because I thought that I was worthless, and he made me feel like that's what I had to do, and I never fully agreed to it. But I'm also, not taking all of the blame off of myself because I put myself in the situation to even let that happen in the first place. But that doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it right. And it absolutely was sexual assault, which led to me having a 5-year eating disorder in which I went through years of counseling, years of therapy, years of my family not trusting me around food, and something that still to this day is a mental battle with me when it comes to food, all stemming from that one moment when at 13 years old, my virginity was taken from me by someone who absolutely did not deserve it. That is my story. That is what I'm speaking up about. I am a full supporter of this Me Too movement because I've never told my story to anyone. I didn't feel like it was important enough to be heard. And 500,000 people across Twitter and Facebook in the past 24 hours alone have felt like they're worthy of sharing their story, and I do too. And if you guys know anyone, or if you yourselves have been affected by sexual assault, please, please, please give this video a thumbs up and comment me too, comment your story, share it with someone who you think could benefit from taking part in this movement, because even just saying it to you guys and putting it out there makes me feel better. Now that I've shared my story with you guys, I want to try to put a positive twist on this and talk about what has helped me move on from it and what I hope will help you guys move on from your own stories if you're still in the beginning phases of healing from sexual assault. Even if you haven't gone through this experience, even if you're a man, I hope that you are still watching this video, because you can help someone you know who's going through this to get through it as well. Since I never reported it or told anybody about it, I didn't seek counseling or emotional support. So for the first few years, I would say probably for the first 3 years till I was about 16 or 17 after that incident, it consumed me. It was my identity. Every night I had a journal that I would write in, and I would just write about it over and over. It was kind of haunting. A few months ago when I was moving, I found the journals that I wrote in, and just rereading through it made me feel like I was reliving the night over and over again. I mean, that incident truly was my identity. He made me feel worthless. He made me feel like I didn't matter, that no one would love me. He took something from me that I could never get back, and as a 13-year-old girl, you don't know who you are yet. So for me, that became who I was. It made me very obsessive. It led me into an eating disorder, and it took me 3 years to even realize that I was letting it be my identity. So the first step in overcoming a situation like this is recognize that that is not who you are. It is something that happened to you, and it's not who you are. This was the hardest thing for me. The sooner you realize this, the better. Like I said, it took me 3 years to recognize that I was letting it eat me alive. Like I said, I didn't tell anybody about this, so I'm no expert. Definitely the way I handled it is not going to be the expert way. The most important thing to do if something like this has happened to you is seek help. Tell a family member, tell a friend, and seek counseling, because they're the experts who will get you through this the right way. I'm just sharing my journey and what worked for me up until this point. Next thing to do was I changed my entire surroundings, my entire friend group. I completely stopped talking to, obviously, him, anyone who was friends with him, any of my friends at that moment. I cut everybody off. And this was a really hard thing to do going into high school when you don't have very many friends to begin with. I just stopped talking to anybody that was in that circle of friends and was very lonely for a couple months. I had to put myself out there and try to start talking to groups of people who I knew would be better to surround myself with, you know, sitting at a different lunch table, just completely removing myself from that group and putting myself into a group that I knew would be more beneficial for my mental and my physical health. So I started hanging out with new people who gave me a new insight on life. I started going to student council meetings with them in high school, getting involved with journalism with them, and really just letting them show me what they were involved in and show me that surrounding myself with better people can get me into a better atmosphere. So the second step for recovering from a situation like this for me was to find a totally new friend group and completely cut anyone out of my life that was associated with that incident. So now that I've started hanging out with new people, gaining healthier hobbies, being more involved outside of school, is helping me to become more positive and build my identity back. So no longer was I consumed by the sexual assault that I went through when I was 13. I was consumed by, you know, look at the work that I'm doing in school. Look at, you know, I've had the opportunity to run track and attempt to be good at that. I've had the opportunity to be an editor for journalism. I just was pouring myself into things that would give me results and kind of start to form the basis for who I was. The third step in healing from something like this, and this is going to be situational depending on your beliefs, but for me it was building my relationship with Christ. So I did not grow up going to church every Sunday. My family is Christian, but not, you know, we're going to go every Sunday and be super involved. So it really wasn't until I got that new friend group entering high school that I started going to Young Life. And Young Life is a weekly program for high school kids, and that is where I began my relationship with Christ and truly found that my identity is in Him and Him alone. And my belief in Him and my religion has definitely helped shape my future and overcome that emotional hold that I have from sexual assault. So step number 3 in overcoming sexual assault for me was finding my relationship with God. For you, if it's not religion, just finding what your spiritual base is. Everyone kind of has that something that's bigger than themselves that they believe in, something that motivates them, whatever it may be. Find that and hold on to it. I'm not saying that, it has to be religion, but whatever that is for you is truly what your identity is going to be found in. And it just gives you peace and knowing that the past is behind you and your future is something beautiful that's being created, and you get to walk in a new light every day and overcome what you've been through before. So those were the 3 things that helped get me through this and helped get me to the point that I'm at now. Of course, step number 4 is the one that nobody wants to hear, which is time. It takes time to heal wounds as deep as the ones of sexual assault. For me, I had physical wounds to heal, which was the eating disorder that I had for 5 years. I was anorexic for 1 year, and I was bulimic for 4 years. Just because it was easy for me to hide. I could eat all of my meals like normal, go to the bathroom after, get rid of them, and have some control over my life. That's the other sad, horrific side effect of sexual assault is it can spin you into addictions. So people can become addicted to drugs, alcohol. For me, it was a mental thing with my eating disorder. And I had to seek counseling for that for a few years to help me truly get my life back in line. I'm very happy to say now I am 21, so that was 8 years ago that my Me Too moment happened, and still to this day I struggle with it. I wish that, I could have saved myself for someone who's the one and not have had it taken from me so soon, but it gave me the opportunity to share my story, a few things that helped me overcome it, and just be transparent with you guys and support this Me Too movement. So that is my story, and those are a few tips for how I overcame my sexual assault when I was 13. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I said, please give it a thumbs up and comment your story or just Me Too, or share it with someone you know that you think could benefit from this, because this movement truly would be powerless if we weren't in it together supporting each other, and I think that's great. Again, I just want to reiterate that I, did not report it when it happened. I didn't, seek help right away, but that is absolutely what you should do if this is something that has happened to you recently, or if it ever happens. Tell someone and seek help right away, because I did not, and I think that my 8-year healing process would have been a lot shorter and a lot easier if I would have had the right support, if I would have sought out the right support from the beginning. So truly just thank you guys for watching this, and if you've gone through something like this, I love you and I feel you, and it sucks and it's not fair, and that's why we're speaking up and making our voices heard. So that will do it for this episode of She Said. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow when I upload our couples video from this past weekend.